Welcome to What You Missed Today from Voice of Emirates, an AI-powered daily news bulletin where we bring you a concise roundup of the top stories we have covered since this morning. From local, Arab and international news to economy, entertainment, sports and lifestyle. I'm the virtual presenter for Voice of Emirates. Now, let's begin with the highlights of what you may have missed today. The United Arab Emirates has strongly condemned the Houthi militia's ballistic missile attacks targeting the southern region of Saudi Arabia. In a statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs described the assault as a flagrant violation of international law and a serious threat to regional security and stability. The UAE reaffirmed its full solidarity with Saudi Arabia and its support for all measures the kingdom takes to protect its security, sovereignty, and the safety of its citizens and residents. The Zayed Sustainability Prize has closed submissions for its 2027 awards cycle after receiving a record 10,233 entries from 177 countries. Applications increased by 32% compared with the previous year, marking the highest participation in the prize's history. The submissions cover 6 categories: health, food, energy, water, climate action, and global high schools. Organizers say the strong response highlights growing global demand for practical and scalable sustainability solutions. And from the international news, the United States has escalated its military campaign against Iran by reimposing a naval blockade and launching a new wave of airstrikes targeting missile sites, naval assets, and military infrastructure. U.S. officials say the operation aims to protect international shipping through the Strait of Hormuz after renewed attacks on commercial vessels. The escalation has heightened regional tensions, with concerns growing over energy supplies, maritime security, and the possibility of a broader conflict in the Gulf. The European Commission has introduced new measures to support its regulation against global deforestation. The updated rules revise the list of covered products and establish a digital system for companies to submit due diligence declarations. Soluble coffee, selected palm oil derivatives, and frozen cattle tongues will be included from December 2027. The broader regulation begins applying to large and medium-sized businesses at the end of 2026, with smaller operators following in June 2027. A policy divide is emerging between Washington and Brussels over the future of the Western Balkans. While the European Union continues to prioritize enlargement and deeper integration for the region, the United States is increasingly focused on security, regional stability, and strategic competition with Russia and China. Analysts say the differing approaches could influence the pace of reforms and the future direction of countries seeking closer ties with Western institutions. And from the political news, U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to begin withdrawing Israeli forces from Syria and Lebanon, according to reports citing U.S. and Israeli officials. The request is part of Washington's effort to reduce regional tensions and prevent a broader military escalation. The report says Trump believes Israel's military presence in Syria is increasing instability, while discussions also include previously agreed redeployment steps in Lebanon. Israel has not announced any change to its military deployments. A Saudi reconnaissance drone has reportedly been shot down over Yemen's Al-Baida province in the latest escalation between the Iran-backed Houthi movement and Riyadh. The Houthis said the aircraft violated Yemeni airspace and vowed to confront future incursions, while Saudi Arabia has not officially confirmed the incident. The development follows recent exchanges of missile and drone attacks, raising concerns that the fragile truce between the two sides could be at risk. Hungary's parliament has voted to remove President Tamas Sulyok as part of a sweeping constitutional reform package introduced by Prime Minister Peter Magyar's government. The measures, approved by a two-thirds majority, also include judicial reforms, parliamentary term limits, and anti-corruption measures aimed at dismantling institutions created during Viktor Orban's years in power. Opposition lawmakers boycotted the vote, describing the move as politically motivated and warning of a constitutional crisis. And from the business news, Ajman's real estate market maintained its strong momentum during the first half of 2026, recording 6,815 transactions worth more than 10.8 billion dirhams. According to the Department of Land and Real Estate Regulation, the sector continued to attract investors, with Emirates City ranking as the most actively traded major project. Officials said the figures reflect growing confidence in Ajman's property market and the Emirates' continued appeal as a competitive investment destination. Dubai's diamond trade reached an all-time high in 2025, with 359.5 million carats traded at a total value of 153 billion dirhams, according to Dubai Customs data announced by DMCC. The record surpasses the previous peak, set in 2011, and marks the first time the Emirate has achieved record highs in both trade value and trading volume in the same year. Officials said the strong performance reinforces Dubai's position as one of the world's leading hubs for the global diamond trade. The Indian rupee has fallen below the 96 mark against the US dollar, reaching its weakest level in weeks as surging global oil prices and mounting inflation concerns weighed on the currency. Analysts say India's heavy reliance on imported energy has increased pressure on the rupee amid escalating tensions in the Middle East. Investors are now closely watching crude oil prices and policy measures from the Reserve Bank of India to stabilize the currency. And from the science and technology news, NVIDIA has begun exporting limited quantities of its H200 AI chips to China after receiving US approval under strict licensing conditions. The move comes amid ongoing technology competition between Washington and Beijing, with only selected Chinese companies permitted to receive the advanced processors. Analysts say the limited shipments could ease pressure on China's AI industry while maintaining US export controls over cutting-edge semiconductor technology. Meta is considering placing limits on how much its engineers can use AI tools as the company's operating costs continue to rise. Company executives say growing spending on AI models and token consumption has made usage more expensive, prompting discussions about setting reasonable limits while encouraging more efficient use of the technology. The move reflects a broader trend across the tech industry, as companies focus on balancing AI innovation with cost control. Intel has announced a $5.7 billion investment to expand its semiconductor manufacturing campus in Leixlip, Ireland. Responding to soaring global demand for artificial intelligence and high-performance computing chips, the investment will increase production capacity, strengthen research and development, and support manufacturing of Xeon 6 and next-generation Intel processors. The expansion is also expected to reinforce Europe's semiconductor supply chain and create new high-tech jobs. And what you might missed from the art and entertainment news, Athens Concert Hall has unveiled a rich 2026 to 2027 season celebrating the bicentenary of Ludwig van Beethoven's death. The program includes the Beethoven 200 cycle, featuring Missa Solemnis, the complete cello and piano sonatas, and a recreation of Beethoven's historic 1808 concert. The season also brings leading orchestras, conductors and dance companies to Athens, alongside jazz, theater, educational programs and community initiatives. Egyptian singer Angham is continuing work on her upcoming summer 2026 mini-album, recording the final tracks ahead of its release. At the same time, she is preparing for a major concert in Doha on October 16th, where she is expected to perform a selection of her greatest hits, alongside songs from her new project. The upcoming release and live performance mark another busy chapter for one of the Arab world's most celebrated artists. The cast and creators of Samson and Delilah are gathering today for the film's special premiere ahead of its official theatrical release. Starring Ahmed El Awadi and Mai Omar, the action thriller has generated strong anticipation following the release of its official trailer. The special screening is expected to bring together leading figures from the Egyptian film industry as the production prepares to launch one of this summer's most anticipated Arabic films. We conclude our roundup with the top sports news stories you might have missed. The UAE Under-17 women's national football team will participate in the largest ever edition of the AFCU 17 Women's Asian Cup qualifiers. A record 30 teams will enter the draw in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, before competing across 8 groups from October 5th to 11th. Only the winner of each group will qualify for the 2027 finals in China, where the top 4 teams will secure places at the FIFA U-17 Women's World Cup in Morocco. Spain booked their place in the 2026 World Cup final with a commanding 2-0 victory over France in Dallas. Mikel Oyarzabal opened the scoring from the penalty spot in the 22nd minute, before Pedro Porro doubled the lead after the break. Lamine Yamal later had a goal ruled out for offside, while Spain's disciplined defense kept Kylian Mbappé and the French attack quiet. Spain will now face the winner of England versus Argentina in the final. That was your roundup of what you may have missed today from Voice of Emirates. For the full stories, visit our website and follow us on social media for the latest updates. Thank you for watching. See you next time.